some bad things, but I'm not a bad person. Forgive me, the homies know not the snake, think the last serpent who bit me. Close curtains. By the way, I've been overworking, amen. Don't throw your shirt and I ain't waiting till it hits me. Back to stage one, that day come, it's back to bargain. Told my runner, don't like the jargon, we don't have the bargain. They know we bargain, they know we bargain. Peace, Lord, let them keep score, stand over coffins. Stand over coffins and piss. I stand over the faucet with fix. It's all in the wrist, yeah. Pardon my absence, but I've been getting online money. We can start with the assets. The wise guy left, played fool. Open the spot across from grade school. That's how stupid they move. Still out of the way, but I can make $1,000 a day. Yay. Like who they talking to, fam? You can blow that smoke elsewhere. Talking all that bullshit, you're endangering your welfare. Tough guys talk obviously ain't working out here. Heavy metal slugs, they can leave you under hell's care. Yeah, that's what the death roll calls. And the shit takes a toll over some jets roll wrongs. Like they always talking fables out they tote them guns. So they always pushing back, you never touch no drugs, nah. So why the fuck they always lying, man? I'm eyeing them, killing these serpents up in the lion's den. Killing them like Leviathan. I try again, I murdered this shit. I'm in my prime again. It's non-fiction on the beat. They call my shit dope. It's addiction on the streets. Try swinging from my plate. I caught you slipping with no cleat. This year's the major leagues. We the champs where I sleep. I took this race to see what's great on your job. Got some greats all involved, now it's racing I charge. New bangs on the beats, make your soul wanna sing. But hold a young king, knock the gold off with your brain. When it comes to streets, I'm a first responder like the Lambo versus a fucking Honda. Word to mama, giving classes out of broke the llama. Skinny Pete got me surfing proper. Bunch of actors, they deserve an Oscar. Bartender, serve shots up. Urban mafia, swerving coppers. Big 50 down, put a dent in the moon. New beamer in the driveway, boy, your friends in the room. I'm a talented goon, slipping from the spoon. On the couch in the house, floor split ginger wounds. Quick lift up the room, then I switch up the tune. Yo, it's hard to stay pure with all this wickedness. Bullshit.
That's my man Jay Flash. That's one of the artists that I'm working with right now. Jay Flash. That joint there is called They Lion, featuring Ito and my man Flea Lord, produced by Stu Bangers. Y'all could definitely check that album out. The album is straight fire. The album is called The Arrival. Dope EP. Definitely check it out. So yeah, here I am live with y'all for the night with the Off the Cuff Radio Build live stream. I'm your host, King Eric, the Media Assassin. And I wanted to say some things. Like, first of all, I want to thank everybody that take the time to tune in. See, I noticed a little bit going on with this here. See, I noticed the numbers go up and down. 1 minute it's telling me 10 people are live. Now it's telling me 2 people live. So you see they messing with my numbers right here. But nevertheless, I wanted to go live with y'all to bring y'all the hip-hop news. First of all, before we go on, we want to send our thoughts and prayers to Crazy Bone, who's fighting for his life right now. We hoping and praying for the best of that outcome. Real solid dude. We hoping that he can survive this. We putting our prayers on the behalf of the Bone Thugs and Harmony family, all his family and friends that know us personally, that we rock with. We got y'all, man. Cray is gonna get better, gonna get stronger. It's just a test. It's a test of faith. It's a test of might. It's a test of will. So prayers go out to Crazy Bone, hoping that he heal and he could come back in the game strong. Now, to the topic at hand. RBX. RBX is apparently mad at the Doggfather. That's right. And I'm looking at, and here it is on his Facebook. He says here, Hey, who got Master P number? Tell Cuz next time he talk to Snoop, make sure he advise him to cut RBX off first. And good morning. And people are like, what does he mean by that? Cut off like it's cut off with a death row or cut off as in break the bread? So people are responding and he's saying more. Look at this shit. And he's saying more. He's saying, tired of the weird shenanigans. Ain't the one to play with. Just keep it moving. No hard feelings. And people are asking questions like, yo, what's going on? Somebody said X. He means well, cuz Snoop has never been a boss. He's a worker. He's a swings from check to check type celebrity, either to survive or maintain a level up, just like Dre. If it wasn't for E, then Suge, now Jimmy, he wouldn't have them powers either. RBX is saying this, but I'm reading the comment from this guy that go by the name of Limo Ken. Just keep it 100. I got love for Dog, but he's a self-type dude. Bosses get a check and then they cut someone else a check to make more checks. Like the young Nick Cannon. People eat around him because he loves creating, spending his own money, employing people. Real boss-ish. Workers only know how to spend, get a check and then deposit it and spend it on themselves and their family. I mean, the dude applied to work for Def Jam, develop artists, that he should have his own damn label. He should see worry about. You know how it is. Sometimes you got to love the homie for who they are, not for who you hope them to be. That was some real talk right there. Because I remember when I talked to Badass, he said a long time ago, you know, before he passed away, that I interviewed, he said Snoop is the best businessman when it comes to his brand. But when it comes to managing other people's careers, he kind of sort of falls short. In case in point with Doghouse, Doghouse could have been a big label for the West Coast. That could have been like the new Death Row. It could have picked up the pace where Death Row left off with talent that he accumulated over that time period. But he released Badass's album. He released the East Side's album. He released I think Doggy's Angels. Few other acts, but nobody else after that. So then he goes on here. This guy that goes by the name of Craig Morrison, he said, I'm only a fan of the music, so definitely don't know the ins and outs of situations like that. But from a small info, us fans are private too. It seems that the promise of setting artists up at Death Row isn't materializing. And RBS goes and said, it's a gang of bullshit. And ran off with the NFT change. And wait, then they tried to act like your bruh didn't contribute to the chronic. Wow. And then he also said, I ain't mad, but we all thought that authentic sound. And folks really thinking he got his folks right. Bruh don't know what that was about and talk to dude. Dude named Craig Morrison said, crazy dude, the potential for the new dynasty, and even if he didn't want to bring everyone around for the ride, he should at least stood his words and set the artist right up. And yet Danny Boy was done dirty after Death Row imploded and has been working in restaurants and slowly releasing new music. And Snoop did an Instagram post the other day showcasing Danny Boy singing. Said there's a place at the table, come take it. RBX said no he don't. Wanted to be all about him. That's cool. And it says really a shame. It's all about him. That's the decent thing would be the ex-Death Row artists like Rage, Danny Boy, editing your music so you can have your own say. He don't own mine. Okay. Yeah, because RBX didn't put out no albums on Death Row. My man Pat said this. He said, if you're looking for Master P to do anything honorable, you're going to be looking for a while. He said, and RBX said, I heard, and they said he's a bruh advisor. I'm just saying. Somebody else go by the name of Larry Carpenter said, I thought Snoop was taking care of his day one. RBS responded, now there you go, LOL. Hot air. Big homie, I'm tired of the fake shit. This guy go by the name of Christina Fire Lundy. Big homie, I'm getting tired of the fake shit. It's all smoke and mirrors and bubblegum. Ain't nobody real in this game. RBS says, right. So, apparently, he's probably upset because Snoop ain't really breaking off the bread like he should, because that was a big deal with the NFTs. Now I talked to a homie of mine about the NFT imploding. Now the NFTs have no value at all. There's no there's no value of accumulating residuals. There's no value behind the NFTs anymore. That moved on. So he built the promise off collecting the NFTs, and now nobody can't break bread. And let's not get started on the fact that he ain't really signing nobody to Death Row. Like we Snoopy Badass was signed on. Why he ain't coming out? Sugar Free, he gave Sugar Free a chain. What's Sugar Free album? And we ain't saying this, I'm not saying it to disrespect Snoop at all. Snoop is probably one of the most polarizing figures in hip hop. Who doesn't like Snoop Dogg music? Who doesn't think Snoop Dogg is entertaining? But at the same time, when it comes to handling the business, he ain't the best. He ain't the best at it, and this shows it. I was looking for Daz Dillinger's Revenge, Retaliation, and Get Back album on Spotify when I was at work, and I ain't even see it up there. So I'm thinking that's where Daz don't even rock with Snoop no more like that. Him and Snoop had a love-hate relationship anyway. But when you start seeing RBX speaking out, there's a problem. There's a problem, and I'm gonna tell y'all what it was. And Suge Jr. said this: Snoop is the front guy of this new Death Row Records. He doesn't own it. He's the front man. He's kind of like the manager at Walmart, but he doesn't own Walmart. That's what that really is. People think Snoop Dogg owns Death Row Records. No, he doesn't, because there's still things out of his control. Another thing too is what happened to him taking the A&R position at Def Jam. He supposed to be an artist developing Def Jam. What happened to that? All that stuff right there is just for image purposes. Cause we still waiting to see what he gonna do. Where the Def Jam music at? Inhale had a Death Row chain. Why Inhale ain't putting out no music on the new Death Row? Inhale had a Death Row chain. The East Side is supposed to reunite it. There's no new music from the East Siders. There's no new music from Sugar Free on that label. Everybody's still doing their music independently. So what's going on with this new Death Row? I remember Reggie Wright saying Snoop don't really own it. I kind of had a feeling that he did. He's just a front man. And RBX also said, shit, RBX is and stays solid. No Hollywood BS and F how they trying to spin the narrative. And he also said this. He's staying on his ground. He said, cuz I ain't going for the bullshit. It's crazy to me, man. Like, it's really wild to me. It's really wild to me, for real. It's just clout. He just milking the logo. Let me tell you something, man. I knew the new Death Row was done. Death Row Records is done, man. Let's just face the facts, man. It's like ECW 2006 all over again. And you can't recreate that era. You can't recreate that magic. I don't care what Snoop try to do. You could bring the talent, but you gotta have the energy around it, man. That made that shit pop, man. You don't have a Dr. Dre. You don't have a Suge Knight. You don't have a Doug Young. You don't have a Papa G. You don't have all these people that played a role in making Death Row Records what it was. You don't have a Jewel. You don't have a Lady of Rage. They can come back for nostalgia, but they don't have nothing new. That shit tanked, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all what I knew this shit was over with when I started seeing this. Cause Snoop to me, I'm gonna tell you when I knew the new Death Row was done. When I started seeing this. When I started seeing this. This is why I knew. I was joking with my man Chili Chill about this, man. When I started seeing this. When you start seeing this bullshit. Look at this. When you start seeing this shit. This is why I knew Death Row was dead. When you have suburbanites, skateboarders wearing Death Row medallia, like, look at this. This was not a division of Death Row Records, man. This is not the visual of Death Row Records at all. This is not what I envisioned Death Row Records. You had to be solid to represent Death Row Records. You had to be on the streets to represent Death Row Records. You had to be a part of the set to represent Death Row. Look at this. When you start seeing this here, you knew Death Row was done. We go from Buntree, Neckbone, Mob James, all these niggas to this. The label is whored out, man. Like the logo is whored out. Suge, man, Suge would slap half these niggas right wearing that shirt. You couldn't even wear that, bro. I'm serious. They turned Death Row. You gonna start seeing Death Row material at Forever 21, man. Look at this. That's why I knew Death Row Records was done. Look at this. Come on, man. You seeing Death Row Record t-shirts and runways in Paris and shit. Like, you gotta have the people that created that movement. Where you gotta have Harry O back, oh boy. I don't think Harry O even rocking with it no more, cause you know, according to Reggie Wright, him and Harry O ain't in the best of terms. Yo, Sugar, see this, man? Sugar choke Snoop out, man. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Hold on, I'm gonna show you some more. This is when you knew Death Row Records was dead, man. And Snoop just giving the chain out like NWO shirts. Look at this. Really? Really? Come on, look at this again. You giving anybody this shit, man. Let's let Death Row, to me, Death Row was done in 96, bro. It gets even worse, man. Look at this. Are you serious? Are you serious? You got all these lames wearing Death Row stuff. Nigga, you couldn't even wear a Death Row shirt back there without getting your check. You couldn't even, you had to go through the check. You had to go through getting the door knocked in on you. You had to go through getting your pockets laced. You had to probably get jumped in just to represent the set. Now you got dudes looking like Tyler the Creator wearing this. It gets even worse, y'all. It gets even worse, man, because look at this. Look at this here. I'm going to show you something. This is where you know it's over. Look at this. Eli Manning with a Death Row chain, bro. Eli Manning with a Death Row chain. Now, my thing is this. If you're going to have people rep the label, let it be some solid niggas, man. I don't want to see these preppy white boys with a Death Row chain, man. I want to see solid people rock the label. Like, give that shit to John Morant. You know, give it to somebody like that. Give it to John Morant. Give it to Derrick Rose. Or give it to... Look at this. This one you know is bad. I knew it was over then. Snoop just giving anybody a chain now because they friends with him. I'm like, hold up, man. You know how many people died for that chain? Like, come on. He really watered down the Death Row brand. Suge is kicking his cell right now. What we gonna get next, man? We gonna get Death Row toys. We gonna get a Death Row action figure. We gonna get a Tupac action figure. We gonna get a Snoop Dogg action figure. I was just whoring the brand at this point. You might as well do this. Get that Tupac Shakur action figure or something. Y'all might as well go with that route anyway. Look at this. Get that Tupac Shakur action figure sponsored by Mattel. Get that going on. Y'all might as well go that route. Like, seriously, the brand is tainted at this point. Seriously. The brand is tainted. Like you giving any nigga a chain right now. And look at this, man. Like this is ridiculous. Hold on. He gave it to this nigga. NLE Chopper. Are you serious right now, Snoop? What is NLE Chopper doing with a death row chain? There's no correlation with him in the culture at all. That type of culture that is. Look at this. He gave Ed Sheeran a chain. Bruh, you whoring the brand. And I'm saying that with love. Like, really, dude. Like, come on, Snoop. What Snoop should have done was this. First of all, release all that content. You know how much content that Death Row probably have in terms of recording footage and studio footage and unreleased songs? There's like thousands and thousands and thousands of unreleased music on Death Row Records. He could have started by releasing that. Like the other label that bought him out. Where wine is? Shit, I need one. Shit me one. But he should have started by that. Because first of all, I'm asking this, like, where is the unreleased version of the next episode? Release the original version of Doggy Style with G's up and holds down. Release that in the cassettes. Release that with some unreleased songs. When you got Doggy Style coming up, the anniversary's coming up in November. Release all the unreleased music and put that as a part of disc 2 or side B, along with the original album. Same with the Above the Rim. The Above the Rim soundtrack had about 5 songs that was unreleased. Add that up there. That's gonna guarantee streams. The Gridlock soundtrack, the Gang Related soundtrack, along with some of the songs that's supposed to be in there, add that as bonus features. Because that's what Reggie Wright did. Reggie Wright, as much as shit talked about it, Reggie Wright did something smart. When they used the Gang Related and Gridlock soundtrack, he used Tupac records as the selling point because he still had them. People don't know Reggie Wright was running the label when Suge got locked up. So Reggie, he used Tupac as bait for people to buy the records. Because you remember, the Gang Related soundtrack came out. We got 4 unreleased Tupac records nobody heard. It was Made Niggas, Life So Hard, Staring Through My Rear View, and Lost Souls. Everybody started buying just to hear those songs because, yo, we didn't have no internet at the time. We couldn't even find them. Nothing was leaking. You had to go to the store and buy it. I bought it just off the strength of hearing Pac. We want to hear more Pac records. Same thing with the Gridlock soundtrack. I bought it off the strength of hearing those records. That's how you market it. But you know how much exactly? There's so much unreleased material. Release the Chronic again with that unreleased material. Release some of the work Snoop did with 3-2, Big Mike. There's probably mad stuff that Corrupt did. I want to hear some Corrupt 95 material. Solo. I bet it's in the vault. It's definitely in the vault. Joel got a cold album in Death Row. You can listen to that on YouTube. That album is cold. Who else? Michelle A. Put her album back out there. There's a lot of unreleased. Put the Death Row demos back out there. Like, there's demos of All Eyes on Me on YouTube. You could release those. There's so much material. And don't get me started on the visuals. The unreleased interviews. The Suge interviews. What's his name? Harry O got interviews probably out there. Unreleased interviews from Dre and Snoop nobody heard. There is a lot of stuff in that vault. Nigga, give me a position at the road, man. Look, I'd unlock all that material because we in the content game, man, and content is key. Because the way he doing it now, it ain't working. People losing interest in it. It's looking like more so a move for him to look good, and yet nobody else is benefiting. But there's so much material, man, that needs to be unlocked. Suge interviews. Then we could unlock the stuff from 2002. Like, there's a lot of material that was recorded in 2002 that didn't see release. There's mad music up in that Death Row vault, and there's mad interviews, mad unreleased stuff. That alone could carry the legacy on, and then you could sign your new acts. You could sign the Inhale, get Inhale set up, groom him up as a top peer position to take over Death Row. Bring Danny Boy back for legacy purposes. Um, Sugar Free, get him on. Sugar Free still got some in the tank. Put Sugar Cane, the album to me, that Cocaine and Sugar Free did, put that on the Death Row. Man, there's so much the ways, the avenues to go with that. There's so much leeway you can go with that for everybody to be displeased. Because I even looked for Revenge, Retaliation, and Get Back earlier. I didn't even see it on the Spotify. And that's one of the hardest albums from 98. So Daz ain't really rocking with Snoop no more. I don't even for this, for what it's worth, I don't even follow each other on IG, but that don't really mean nothing to me because there's a lot of niggas that know me but don't follow me on IG. But that's a determination right there that you don't rock with one another. But there's a lot of material. Yeah, he don't even rock with that nigga no more. I don't think he rock with Snoop no more. Snoop. So with RBX, I'm thinking they try to undercut RBX and pay. Like whomever Snoop is dealing with, they probably try to cut RBX out. Like, we ain't gonna pay you those royalties and what you owe. Cause you know, nigga, he did some of the hardest songs up there. He did The Day the Niggas Took Over. He did High Powered, Lyrical Gangbang. One of the hardest records I ever heard. Stranded on Death Row. Like, yo, come on, son. RBX deserved more praise than he get. Then he did Serial Killer. His versus Serial Killer was crazy. I think that was the only song he did with Snoop on the Death Row joint. But RBS got some joints, man. And we did a dope interview with him like 2 years ago. So I might have to re-upload that again. See, if I'm gonna do, the only thing is this though. See, if I'm gonna do interviews, I gotta interview when I feel like it. It can't be just some clout shit. That's not the way I move. Like if I want to interview RBX, I want to just talk to him, just cause I feel like it. A lot of these dudes, they do it just so they can get some clout. But RBX definitely deserves his due, man. He put in a lot of work behind the scenes and in front musically. Him and DOC, they deserve more. They made that Chronic album what it was. I agree. I think Snoop's stealing artists from the brand new Death Row and not promoting it. I won't say he's stealing, but he more so got over his head. Because when you're dealing with an operation like that, there's a lot of swindling involved. He's probably got to go through new distributors now due to streaming, so artists can see their money. He got to check in, and then they're telling him different things, and he's related the message. Like these new distributors might be telling him, like, look, man, we ain't paying RBX nothing. And that could be because RBX wasn't even signed to Death Row. So they figure, oh, this nigga won't sign to Death Row. We just ain't gonna pay him. Now, if he was signed to Death Row, it would be totally different. I think he was signed. Was he a signed? I think RBX was a signed artist. Hold on, let me check it out. I think, was he a signed artist? Because it's different for being affiliated or a signed artist. I'm going to look that up real quick. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I'm going to look that up. Now, if he was a signed artist, he deserved his due. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. He was signed there. Now, he said he joined, but joining and signing is two different things. Because people don't know this, but Tupac wasn't really originally signed to Death Row. He joined Death Row, but he wasn't signed contractually to Death Row. A lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that. But see, it's the difference between joining and signing. It's like you can join a group, but if you're not contractually binded with that group, you may be swindling yourself out of a lot of revenue. They definitely need to release that unreleased material. Bro, there is so much unreleased material. Look on YouTube alone and type up Death Row Unreleased. You see a ton of music. They sitting on a gold mine, man. They sitting on a gold mine. That's like P. Diddy stealing art from the artist from Bad Boy. Yeah, man. But see, the difference is with this though, is Snoop was calling out Suge for it. But see, this is one thing he's not understanding. See, now he's figuring out what's it like to be a boss. Now, and me defending Snoop, it's totally different when you're in the boss's seat versus the employer's seat. You know? Because now you gotta cut the checks, and it's not easy. When you the artist, it's easy. Now you in that position where you gotta sign the checks. It's totally different because now you gotta be like, damn, he can't get paid more than me, and I'm writing his checks. I definitely want to hear, especially Tupac, the ones that haven't been released yet. Man, Pac probably still got more in that vault too. That vault is worth billions. But that's the thing, bro. Like Snoop. Oh, they definitely need to be released on material. I totally agree. Totally agree, man. I understand they gotta probably go do sample clearances because this is what I hate about this Spotify era shit is a lot of the records that made physicals are not even on Spotify. Just like when I was listening to Rizzleism from DJ Quick, half the songs weren't even there. Like I'm sitting there vibing, and there was 2 records that wasn't there. Hold on, it was "Thinking of You" and "Whatever You Do." Then you go listen to, you try to listen to God. I was trying to listen to Ghostface Killer Iron Man. Win Awards weren't even there. I'm like, yo, how can y'all like this streaming era bull crap, man? Half the records ain't even released because of politics. Y'all really rather have streaming than physicals when you could get all your music? It's crazy. Switching topics. Do you think it's too late that P. Diddy gave all the publishing artists had to steal any money allegedly? It depends on how you look at it. It depends on the valuability of the catalog. Now, I still take it because it's money owed to me. You'll be a crazy nigga to not take what's owed to you. But at the same time, they had to sign an NDA. They had to sign an NDA saying that you can't besmirch or talk or slander or defame Diddy or the company. Now that nigga could probably give you like $300. You can't complain about him on no podcast. That's the deal you signed. See, that's the catch right there. Nobody caught that. He made most of those guys sign an NDA. That's why you ain't gonna see Jada and Styles say nothing bad about Diddy no more. That's why you're not gonna see Mace say nothing bad about Diddy no more. Mark Curry, he the only one. But I'm thinking with Mark Curry, considering he did writing for Puff, he's owed more. But I knew there was a backhand catch to that. There was definitely a backhand catch to that, because I was like, hold up. This nigga ain't that generous. Now, I would salute him for the fact that he actually did it, because you know how hard it is to get real money in this music business? It is a pain. But we got to look at it like this, too. He made double doing the peak of it. So he's like, he gave it to them niggas. It's like him buying a Ferrari. He did what he did with the Ferrari. Man, he giving to them niggas 30 years later. It's all beat up. Your engine light is all in. Your tail light is broken. You might need your windows adjusted. Your seats is tampered with. The seats is dirty. The air conditioning ain't working. But it's the car though. The value done depreciated. So It depends on the value of it. The Locks can still make money and tour off those publishing. Mace definitely can. Um, Black Rob, he was alive, it would have done him some good because Woe was a big hit. Life Story was a big hit. Um, it'll definitely do good for Shine, cause Shine is, he's in Belize right now, and he's made that transition into politics. So that little money could be good for him. But guys that didn't really put in a lot, 112 would definitely be good for them too. But people like Making the Band and Danity Kane and all them, nah. Mark Curry, it depends on what Mark Curry wrote. I would love to interview Mark Curry to get more insight of this. I'm gonna see how much did Mark Curry write. If Mark Curry wrote, I'm gonna tell you this, if Mark Curry wrote that Godzilla track for Puff, nigga, you better hit that lick. You better hit that lick, homie. Hold on, I'm gonna look that up. Mark Curry, right? What he wrote for Diddy. Let me see what he wrote for Diddy. Hold on one second. He wrote Bad Boy for Life. Hold on, I'm looking this up. He did Dangerous Mule MCs with Notorious Big. He did Sean Gangsta Shit from Sean Combs Forever album 1999. He's featured on 6 songs for The Saga Continues. He put in some work. The Training Day soundtrack. He did some work. Now, if he did that Godzilla joint, nigga, you better hit Puff Lick. Straight up. And the girl when Danny Kane recently exposed Diddy hit. Yeah, you can't say nothing bad about him. So that was a slick game on Puff's behalf. Diddy, let me see. Diddy Godzilla's track. Who wrote Come With Me? That's what I want to look at. That's one of the biggest records Puff ever did. I'm trying to see who wrote it for him. Damn, I can't find it. But y'all get the drift. Y'all definitely get the drift, man. But whatever's going on at Death Row Studios, it's going to show right there. All the smoke ain't mirrors. Money is being promised. It's not being distributed to the proper artists. We starting to see more people get very dissatisfied. Like we seen Snoopy Badass. He was definitely dissatisfied at one point. Dash Dillinger was dissatisfied at one point. Now RBX is dissatisfied. And I think Suge Jr. said something about this. I'm going to read this to y'all what Suge Jr. said about the new Death Row. Hold on, I'm going to read this to y'all. Because, see, I like reading y'all the articles to let y'all know that I'm not just talking out my ass. I do my research before I go on. That's what people don't never do. They don't do their research. Let me see this. Hold on one second. If I can find it. Hold on. He was happy about it at first, but then he started seeing something else was wrong. He said Suge Knight said Snoop Dogg ownership of Death Row is illegal. Now he said this here. He stated he doubts Snoop's claim of ownership. He accused Harris of committing bankruptcy fraud, which he and his lawyers only discovered a week prior to the phone call. Snoop has a partner, which is Michael Harris, right? The 58-year-old told the outlet. If you look at it, they committed bankruptcy fraud. I didn't lose my company by doing anything wrong. They went in and the lawyer didn't show up. And I got a default judgment. I settled the judgment. Then they turned around and said I didn't settle the judgment. Knight, who is referred to the sale of Death Row as illegal and a crime, said the Harris legal wife and legal team knowingly participated in the fraud stemming from bankruptcy claim, which occurred in 1995. When they filed for bankruptcy in 1995, they said it didn't have anything to do with Death Row anything, and the lawyer did also. The infamous music exec claimed the lawyer knew. He continued to argue his point, highlight the transparency and the legality of the sale and acquisition of Death Row Records amid Harry O. prior bankruptcy filing. You can't take a person who committed the worst crime of the century to take death row from black people to try to give it to white people, he said, and think you're going to turn it around and reward it. He going to grab Snoop and he going to get it back and have death row. It don't work like that. So if we're going to talk about something, let's talk about it. During the conversation, Knight said he believed the ownership of many of the Death Row popular releases will be transferred to him before all said and done. I am Death Row, Suge Knight said. He said, evidence that he's not willing to walk away from the label he helped build without a fight. So he gonna fight for Death Row Records from the pen. It was announced that Snoop has acquired Death Row Records in a deal with MNRK Music Group. However, the terms of the deal was undisclosed. Snoop released a statement recited the news, which remarked a real full circle moment in the rap legend's illustrious career. Okay, so Suge gonna fight like hell to get it back. He said, and basically that's what's going on, because just like the pictures I showed you earlier, they're making Death Row into like a laughing stock. Seriously. I mean, you know, I thought it was, at first I was excited about it being a great power move, but it's what is going on? 2 years now? We haven't really seen nothing new? Like, really? What do you think about the comments that Special Ed made about NWA? Yeah, first of all, big shout out to Special Ed. We did a dope interview with him a while back. I'm gonna be re-airing that. We had a dope bill last time he was on our show, and I have to respectfully disagree with Ed about that, because what happened, you can't blame NWA for. NWA was just basically speaking on their experiences, that what they seen. It's the labels that created that. See, what people don't know is that NWA and Public Enemy actually coexisted. They actually coexisted. NWA's popularity did not hurt Public Enemy. It didn't hurt Native Tongues. It didn't hurt any of these groups from really selling records. They all coexisted. Kid and Play used to tour with NWA, as a matter of fact. They all toured together. It was all like a big family. But what happened later on, when the Small Hats got involved, money got involved? Two pivotal points happened in 1989 that changed the guard, and that's where rap became big business. The Small Hats got involved and created a wedge, which made Ice Cube leave NWA. That's number one, happened in 89. What else happened in 89? Public Enemy kicks Professor Griff out of the group for making comments about the Small Hats. And from there, they started really making in position to really start taking power within the culture. Because in those golden years, they didn't see nothing as hip-hop but a fad. They didn't want nothing to do with rap. They thought it was going to be like some disco shit. They thought it was just going to fad out. But the golden era, which was 88, as everybody would say, a lot of old heads were saying 88, that proved that rap had marketability. White people started buying it, right? So that's when they was like, okay, we can make some real good money here. So we're going to look at the record sales. NWA and Easy did 3 million. Public Enemy did 1 million. We're going to push what we think is going to make us the most money. So what we're going to do, we're going to focus on NWA. And we're going to push that level of music. And anybody that want to get signed, they got to make that type of music. So that's what happened. When they created that riff to focus on one side of the coin and not the other side of the coin. Then you go to 1996, where the official imbalance within hip-hop media had just officially took place. When Bill Clinton signed into law the Telecommunications Act that gave government control of media. That's why slowly around 97, 98, you started seeing a lot of those dope mix shows from Sway and Tech, Stretch and Bobito, Red Alert, all them shows started going away. And that's why you started hearing all the same type of records on radio. It started from there. Bill Clinton signed the Telecommunications Act of 1996, and that changed hip hop forever. So it wasn't NWA. We always had content talking about sex, drugs, and violence, but it's the responsibility of the platforms to create balance. They don't do that. They follow whatever the market shares tell them. So that's my opinion about that. I felt Ed was wrong in singling NWA out about that because the labels saw what was selling more and they wanted to capitalize off that sound because that's all they know. They don't care about black people. They don't care about what we like. They care about what sells. They care about what's marketable. So they push that type of music and force everybody's hand. Now you look at 1993. Everybody had to be on some gangster shit. Not because they wanted to, but because the labels made it that way. Oh, you gotta give a Snoop Dogg type record. You gotta do a Dr. Dre type record. You gotta do a G Funk type record. That's what Run DMC was doing in Def Jam. Remember that? Run DMC they were biting Onyx and they were biting the West Coast. They tried to stay afloat. You had Hammer up there in Speedos trying to put out Death Row type music. So the labels put these pressure on these guys to create and do that sound. That's where Ice Cube got creatively lost around 94. He didn't know he wanted to kick the militant shit or he wanted to go the G Funk route. Cause you listen to Lethal Injection was more G Funkish. So the labels created that platform, created that atmosphere. The labels are the one that created that wedge because there was balance. There was balance. There was balance on the radio. There was balance on TV. You had Yo MTV Raps. Everybody had a shot. Rap City, everybody had a shot. If you had a record coming out, you had a shot. But it stopped then, right? When Bill Clinton signed that Telecommunications Act, that was it. That was it. Now you started seeing nothing but Hot 97, Power 105, 97.5, all that. They start being the tastemakers. And LL Cool J, 14 shots to the dome. Exactly. He was West Coast influence. He had to make records like Tretch and Onyx. Like that wasn't LL. What's that song that he had? What's the name of it from 14 Shots to the Dome? He was sounding like Tretch. Because Naughty by Nature was the sound. Onyx was the sound. And Death Row was the sound. And Wu-Tang was coming in. So you had to make records like them. That's where it started to change. And LL was doing that Onyx shit. Then you even have what's his name? Will Smith doing that shit. Boom, shake, shake, shake the room. That's Naughty by Nature. He was rapping like Tretch. Boom, shake, shake, shake the room. Boom, shake, shake, shake the room. Will Smith was trying to do that. Like, then you had Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice was doing that. He had the dreads. He was trying to rap like DOS Effects. Yo, the industry was in carbon copy mode back there. Look up Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice had dreads. He got put out songs called the Hootie Mac or something. Straight garbage. But I'm telling you, man, that's what was happening. It was happening. Like these labels was forcing these artists to really come out and emulate a sound. Because they know that's what's going to sell records. It's always been that way. And you can say Heavy D, Blue Funk. Yeah, look at 1993 to mid 1994. Everybody was doing that. Everybody was doing that. Criss Cross was doing that. I think Snoop Dogg called out Criss Cross for biting. I think in 1993. Listen to the doggy, Doggy Dog World Record with Snoop called out Crisscross. Because they were biting Snoop. But a lot of that was going on. Yeah, look at 1993. Niggas was straight biting, man. Oh, man. It was a wild time because that's when I start seeing the labels really started really pushing and forcing artists' hand to make certain type records that wasn't really them. I remember Cool G Rap saying the same thing where he was at Rawkus and they wanted him to make 50 Cent type records. And they wanted Cool G Rap to work on his abs. And Cool G like, man, what the fuck you think you talking about? I'm from Queens. I slapped the dog shit out you white boys. They say, I ain't sitting there let some scrawny white college geeks tell me what to do. I'm from Queens, nigga. Come on, man. That's what the type of time that we on with that, man. And that's what really started happening. So it wasn't NWA fault per se. It was when the record labels really started getting the foothold. One thing about when corporate or corporations start taking on good things, it's never going to be good. It's never going to come out good. Yeah, I agree. DJ Fresh Plant, Fresh was West Coast sound, so a lot of East Coast at the time was going in hardcore. Yeah, a lot of them were. They had to because the labels forced their hand. Especially Def Jam, because Def Jam was in the hole at the time. They was forcing every nigga to rap like a West Coast nigga. Redman, he the only one that didn't do it because he was out there. Like Redman was on some spaced out shit. He was on that acid. But that's why they signed J.O. Felony, they signed BG Knockout and Drayster. They didn't really know what to do with them niggas, but they signed them just so they think they could get a West Coast audience. They didn't know what to do with them niggas, but Warren G came with hits. So Warren G technically saved the label in a way because, you know, they couldn't do nothing with Regulate. Regulate was the biggest thing out in 94 at the time. So it's like, sign that nigga and put the record out and there it go. Warren G had hits. G'd up sound. It's kind of easy when you listen to the G'd up sound. Pioneer speaker bumping. There's a smoke on the pan. Now the sound for your ass, and it's easy to see that this DJ be Warren G. Come on, man. That shit was fly. Long Beach was making Snoop open up that door, and then Warren G came through. Then you had Domino coming through. He opened up the door for Long Beach. So you got to salute Snoop on that. And see, and then what made that work with Warren G was naturally himself. What made Domino work, it was naturally himself. He didn't make records like Snoop. So when an artist is organically themselves, it's gonna work. Hold on, let me send these records off real quick. So yeah, man, that's what that's all about. Oh man, I'm late. Yeah, what's going on is RBX he's not feeling what's going on with Death Row, the new Death Row, and Snoop's direction. Hold on, I'm gonna read it to you right quick since you're here. Get your thoughts about this. Because he's posted this on his Facebook. He said, let me make sure. Hold on, let me look it up. Hold on, man. Hope he ain't take it down, because these niggas be talking shit and take it down posts. Okay, it's right here. He said, hey, who got Master P number? Tell Cuz next time he talk to Snoop, make sure he advised him to cut RBX off first. So I'm thinking what he means is that RBX ain't getting paid. And that's happened with the NFTs. So he also said this. He also said, hold on, man, look it up this morning. I was reading it earlier. You could rewind it earlier when I finished the live. But he's irritated at the fact that he felt he ain't compensated. I think it has to do with the NFTs and Snoop is involved with that. And therefore that means a lot of niggas ain't getting paid. But we already seen the writing in the wall anyway, because there was really nobody getting released on that label. We didn't see no new music. They did something. They did like a compilation last summer, but that's about it. But see, One thing I will give Snoop credit for is Snoop is a great businessman for himself. That nigga take a check anywhere. He'll do a song with anybody. So he knows how to be the best businessman for himself. But when it comes to pretty much helping you, shit. Good luck with that. But one thing I would say this, niggas talk as much shit as he talked about Suge. Suge got some platinum plaques. Snoop only got gold. I mean, come on. We gotta speak facts. When Suge Knight was running Death Row, let me read the numbers so niggas don't think I'm talking out the ass. Hold on, I'm gonna read the numbers. When Suge Knight was running it, hold on now. We're gonna do a little comparison here while I'm here. Hold on. Hold on now, let me look it up. I'm gonna look up all the numbers. First of all, the Chronic. How many did that sell? 5.7 million. Doggy Style. Hold on. Hold on. Where does Doggy Style stand to this date? Because I know it went 4 times platinum. It was certified 4 times platinum by 94. I want to know how much it's sold currently. Like, where is it at right now? Dog Food. Okay, it's 4 times platinum. I think it's 4 times platinum. The Chronic is 3 times platinum. All Eyes on Me. Hold on. Some of these ain't right. They gotta update it. I'm looking at All Eyes on Me. All Eyes on Me is basically diamond. Machiavelli is 5 times platinum. The Doggfather is 2 times platinum. And this is when Suge was out. So then you got the Tupac records, which was 3 times platinum. Better Days was 2 times platinum. Now, let's look up the believe it or not, I took this picture of Snoop shot being Vans in Inglewood early this morning on the way to work. Wow. Now, believe it or not, let's look at Doghouse. Let's look at Doghouse. Doghouse Records. He had Doggy Style Records, which was founded in 1995. The East Siders went platinum. The Last Meal went platinum. Deuces and Trades went gold. Now notice this. All this is his shit. Pay the Cost to Be the Boss went platinum. Rhythm and Gangster went platinum. Blue Carpet went platinum. This is all him. But what about his artists? Doggy's Angels, it didn't really chart well. And that was a sick album. But think about this. Even the East Siders albums were Snoop albums. So, think about it. Snoop put out a bunch of Welcome to the Church mixtape. Yeah, they were fire. They definitely was fire. I love them, man. Them joints was sick. But Doggy Style Records, all the platinum hits came from him. Think about it. Now let's look at Doghouse. Did he have? I think it was called Doghouse Records, or was it Doggy Style Records? I think that's what it was. Oh, I'm looking it up right now. Doghouse Records. Okay, they put out the Wash soundtrack. I think that went gold. The the 213 album. But check the difference though. It's all featuring him. Of course it's gonna sell. It's all him. Nobody separate is doing that. What happened to E White? Good question. I'm gonna hit E White up as a matter of fact. I'm gonna look for that nigga. That nigga was dope. That nigga was dope. I want to get your opinion. What do you think happened to the decline of Shady Records? Do you think it's Eminem fault or not? Um, Let me see how I can put this. It kind of was Eminem because Eminem got on drugs. Eminem got on drugs and he couldn't really focus. So he couldn't really focus anymore. He got hooked up on he got hooked on drugs. So for 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, he was just basically a blur. 50 was already there, but they made so much fucking money when he made that sign. Within the first 2 years for 2002 to 2005, them niggas made so much money. They outdid they sales. I mean, you had the G Unit juggernaut, you had the Shady juggernaut, and you had the Dr. Dre juggernaut. And M being on drugs just really took him, and then losing proof. He fell into a deep depression, and he almost died of a drug overdose. So he comes back. He's coming back. He can't even focus on running his ship no more. He got to focus on getting himself back in the game. So all these guys from D12, them niggas was done after that. They couldn't do Obi Trice. When he came back, he wasn't really running the label no more. He was just probably just signing people to be a part of the brand, but he wasn't really a part of the operation like that. Like, yeah, he'll sign Slaughterhouse, but the problem with Slaughterhouse was they tried to make records like M. That's what killed that Slaughterhouse album. You can't make them goofy records that Eminem can make. Yellow Wolf and Slaughter. It didn't work because they tried to make them same goofy records that Eminem be making. It don't work. Same thing with Obi Trice. Obi Trice, he came out with a dope album, Cheers, which returned 20 today. But he came out with that stupid single, Got Some Teeth. Like, you can't make those goofy records like Eminem do. Eminem the only one that can do that. And what they try to do, they try to force every artist that they sign to make goofy records like him. It don't work. D12 happened to work because that's a part of their personality. When they came out with My Band and Purple Pills and that goofy shit, it worked. But other than that, it's not what works with M ain't gonna work for everybody else. And that's what these labels don't understand. They think this is what they think. They think they stick M on a track with these dudes, it's gonna go platinum. Because it used to be that way. It used to be, oh, put Marshall on 2 songs, it's gonna go platinum. It used to be that way. It's not gonna work like that no more. They gotta understand that having the superstar feature don't work like that no more. Because a nigga used to go platinum just off a feature overnight. It don't work like that. So what happened with M got on drugs and just lost focus. So then he comes back. He's not rapping. He don't even have Dre around him no more. He's trying to prove himself that he can hang with the best. He's trying to prove to himself because it's clearly that he lost a lot of his confidence. So he's trying to prove to the new generation that he can hang. And in return, he's really lost track on running the business. He's kind of like a Snoop. He's better running his own brand. He's not good with managing other brands. If you get my drift. Eminem is the best businessman for him. But when it comes to himself, I mean, just like Griselda, he didn't really do much for Griselda. It was a great cosign, but it ain't gonna put him in stadiums. It ain't really needed. If anything, it benefited him. It gave him that credibility. Stop Eminem promote drugs. You so corrupt. I blame you. I'm blaming the white guy. But check this. This shit go beyond M though, my brother, because niggas was promoting drugs before Eminem even got in. Shoot, Redman did his whole album on acid. That There Is the Dark Side album. He did that whole joint on acid. He probably was pushing his people to do that shit, but nobody was doing that shit cause of M. That's his people. when you see black people talk about killing their baby mama on records, we'll fuss them out, we'll choke her, but M went on the deep end and killed her on wax. So, we won't doing that. That's his people. Red push weed on record. Yeah, but we think about this, because I've been around people with weed. When you do weed, nigga, you can congratulate the coke. Then what's next after coke? Crack. Shit. Who else? J.O. Felony did the Sherm Stick joint. We gonna smoke a dip. Brother Lynch did promoting Sherm. BG were promoting Diesel. Who else? Soldier Slim was talking about Diesel. Baby had a record called Bag of Dope. 3-6 Mafia had Sipping on Some Scissor. The risk go. If anything, 3-6 Mafia started that shit. Them niggas was doing the first ones I ever heard getting high on record, doing cocaine on record. I remember I first heard that record, Funky Town, when I went to Memphis. I said, yo, these niggas talking about doing coke on record? Like, what? Shit. This niggas is crazy. Them niggas was doing cocaine on record. You can hear them chopping it up on Funky Town. So I think 3-6 Mafia started, openly promoting drug use on record. Then you had they would put out Sipping on Some Scissor, Funky Town. Yo, them niggas was wild, yo. So yeah, they was doing that before M. But whatever M was doing, that's his people. Shit. That's white trash problems there. Straight up. But yeah, man, but I see what you're saying though. I definitely see what you're saying though. But that's where M fell off with that when it came to the shady, man. Because 50 done moved on from music, and after the Kanye battle, he done moved on from music completely. And M was really around to really guide the ship. So that was called the decline of Shady Records. Yeah, they brought back Griselda and Slaughterhouse, but he don't really need them niggas. But other examples never went over the heads on the other regions. Even Raekwon had drugs stored in the beginning of incarcerated Scarface. Yeah. Shoot, even Prodigy. Prodigy was doing cocaine when he did the skit. When he did the skit of the infamous Prelude. When he did that sniff. Talk about all these niggas, talk about all these spaced out shit. Yo. Punching you, get on some high school shit, start punching in your face. Yo, man, but yeah, man, drug culture was definitely big in the 90s, for real. Because that stuff Eminem was rapped out with, niggas was not doing. Straight up. Niggas was not doing that. We looked at him as the crazy white boy that could happen to just rap good, but we ain't following nothing he doing. You feel me? Damn, I gotta send this record off, man. Yeah, I did some uncut Power 12 good time. Yo, tell you this, man. I'm CM Punk, man. I'm straight edge, man. I don't know nothing about that time, dog. I'm 100 with you. Do you think Shady, Aftermath, G Unit the biggest fumble? Nah, I don't. Cause they made all their money already. They made all their money. They made all that big money in the early 2000s. Them niggas still spending it now. So they already made it. Nobody stays on top forever. Shoot, they took over, man. If anything, Everybody have their time in the sun. If anything, Death Row Records was the biggest fumble. That was the biggest fumble because that shit only lasted 4 years. Then on top of that, you have your bread maker starting to, beat niggas out up at the Vegas hotel. You don't have your bread maker do that shit. Same old Dr. Dre when he did Aftermath. Yeah, and on top of that, Dre also got money from doing the headphones. So he ain't really need music no more. They leveled up and made extra money. I bet M get probably about 300 grand per feature. And 50 Cent kicking ass in Hollywood, so they still winning. Death Row was the biggest fumble to me because them niggas was on top of the world, and in 6 months the shit went crashing. That's the biggest fumble. And we sitting here thinking, damn, man. That's like Tom Brady going down when Pop went down. It's like Tom Brady went down for a whole season. And we thinking, damn, Snoop gonna pick up the ball. He fumbled it. Nigga came out there with the Doggfather and shit and was just, I'm like, what the hell this nigga whispering for? What happened to that aggressive flow that nigga had? Shit was gone. He was sitting there whispering. That's why I knew that shit was done, bro. I was like, damn, he ain't got it. You're right. I'm just saying from a talent standpoint, they could have done more. Totally agree. Definitely totally agree. He said, if you're a true musician, no matter how much money you make, you will still be doing music. We always see Dre in the studio, but don't be putting out any day. Big facts. Big facts. You could barely hear him on the Doggfather. Yeah, he was straight whispering on the flow, man. But don't put out nothing. Yeah, Dre be doing that to tease us, man. I remember, I'm still waiting on the songs he did with Dipset. He had Dipset in the studio. We ain't heard nothing, and that was 10 years ago. Same thing with, who else? John Connor. Who else he took pictures with? Dr. Dre took pictures of a lot of people. But just because you put him, that's why we never made it. That's true. And see, niggas got that whole perfectionist mindset that they be like, Dre's sitting on some dope records, but he don't want to put them out because he's scared. And I'm like, man, just put it out. Dre thought Deep Cover was whack. And I'm like, nigga, is you crazy? Snoop like, nigga, you need to put that out now. I'm living outside. I don't give a... I'm like, look, we putting that out now. It's part of that Dre fault, man. Cause Dre be taking all day. That's why Kendrick Lamar be like, look, man, I'm gonna use your platform. I'm gonna jump on this Aftermath tree, then I'm gonna go and do my thing wrong. Dre even had E.T. in the studio in the booth talking about phone. We don't even ever hear it. Man, Dre need to stop that perfectionist shit, man. Cause it's like, yo, you deprived us of great music. That's why a lot of those guys, I kind of understand why they leave them alone after. I'm like, man, look, I'm not sitting in no studio with you for 8 hours over 2 lines. That would drive you crazy. But you know what? To his credit, that joint be sounding sharp. Boy, that's why Dre is probably one of the greatest musicians ever. I'm not gonna lie. As long as it take, that when the final product come out, you like, good God, this is a masterpiece. Long as it takes. Long as it takes. But when the final product come out, you like, this is incredible. But anyways, let me get up out of here, man. I gotta go send these songs. I gotta send some more of these files, man. Check out my man Jay Flash. He got one of the dopest albums out now. And I'm gonna be getting out of here because I gotta send some more tracks up there. I got a track coming out that I'm working with DJ King Assassins. We got some tight niggas up in here. We got Ice-T, we got Tretch, we got Cocaine, we got Above the Law, we got Edie I Mean, we got Lil Easy. It's gonna be fire, man. So when this thing come out, it's gonna be some fire. So I'm out, y'all. Catch me on the rebound.